served in the United States Marine Corps from 1989 to 1996. I served in numerous regions, one of them being Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and I served in theater in Somalia. I was discharged honorably under medical conditions after a helo accident that occurred that broke several broken bones, gave me a traumatic brain injury and seizure disorder. After that, I came home and started working in the community, trying to find a niche for myself. One of them was helping vets. Some of the veteran work I do in the community is as simple as supplying meals, helping with cleaning. My own daughter helps with some of this. She goes weekly to clean houses for a couple of vets. I go and make sure their food is taken care of at the end of the day, going to doctor's appointments. We even get involved with community as far as doing parades that pronounce our veterans and their families and the work they do or have done. Getting them out on the parade route and letting them wave and people acknowledge them is a big ego boost for a lot of vets that think nobody knows about them anymore. So those are some of the things we do. I met my wife in 2007. We met in Hagerstown at In the Streets events over a beer. She was working an event and I was working an event. And we had been dating since the day we met, ever since. We got married and I moved in here in the home.
I've been serving for 21 years. I started 4 years active duty Army, got into the National Guard, and I've been serving active with the National Guard since 2002.
A couple of years after we moved in together, we had a situation where we needed to take custody of one of our grandchildren. And with that, we had to have social services come in and check the home, make sure it's suitable for a child. It was, except for the fact that we had a lead contamination. Once they brought the inspector out, we found out the entire home was completely contaminated and unlivable.
Immediately when we found out, we moved. We had to get out of the house, wash the things that we needed, getting rid of a lot of things. So it was a life-changing event. It changed everything.
At this point, we had no idea what we were going to do. We felt like it was a hopeless situation, and we had joked numerous times that we just hoped that the house burnt down. There was nothing we could do financially to resolve the situation. We had no assets that we could use to pay for or rebuild, and there was no way of selling the home. So we had nothing. We had no place to go and no place to live. The work here was overwhelming for us to do, and I stayed here and did it. I became ill numerous times. I had numerous upper respiratory infections because of my disabilities. I just couldn't do much. I'd work for a couple days and then have to stop and rest. My wife would be working all the time, so she couldn't come in and do anything until the weekends. It was an overwhelming situation, and I didn't know who to go to. I didn't like asking for help. We didn't know what to do. I met Charlie through a friend of mine that I had done veteran work with, and was told to expect a couple people over to the house and make sure that we're ready. Gentleman that showed up was Charlie and Brian Donley and a gentleman named Evan, who we called Buck. Big nice guy. And throughout that day that they came, they walked through the house, had a beer with us, really down-to-earth people. And we sat on the front porch and talked about some of the needs after we walked through. And at that point, made a list. They said, make a list of whatever you need. We sat down and made a modest list of those needs, and it came back and said, we're going to take care of all this for us.
I was driving home from work and he called and he said, everything's taken care of. It's done. And I cried. The things that they did to the home are countless. Just the structural repairs would have been good. You know, hanging the drywall, but the fact that they came in and made our living room look different. It looks like a different room. Our bathroom, the things that I always wanted to have done that were on my wish list, they did. Windows, electric. You know, I joked with my friends I can run 5 hair dryers at one time and I won't have to worry about blowing the, the circuit. So they did everything.
On this room, what we did is we brought the ceiling down about 2 inches. We added the acoustic tiling, brought in a light instead of a fan, and we added the sconce on the wall here. We did all the wiring and added the new windows. And what we had up here before was just contaminated paint from years of being painted over and again, but the ceiling also had somewhat of a flux in it, so we had to correct that.
So Donley Kirlin just kind of ripped that out.
Their advice was to just simply solve the issue by bringing it down, adding this, and we thought this was a great asset to the room. And this was one of the greatest transformations we have in here. Being that this is where we do all the cooking, our family's in here most of the time, this kitchen was transformed 100%. This entire wall has been replaced. The entire ceiling has been replaced. Windows have been replaced here. And then we had an issue with the floor, but they got it fixed. And now we have a flat surface to walk on. And we got great cabinets. We got new countertops. The tiling is all brand new. It is just a wonderful transformation. It's great to be able to be in here and be able to cook. Have your kids in here, I have my grandkids in here. One of the first things we did was cook some cookies and brownies when this was all done because we could. Before, it just wasn't feasible to have our family in here and enjoy this space. Now we can. In this room, we had to gut down the entire room all the way down to the studs. Wall, wall, wall. All the wiring had to go out. Here, as you can see, we're still working on some of the projects in the room. Here we're going to put a stained glass piece, which Charlie from Donley Construction is going to come in. His daughter is going to make a stained glass portrait for us. This here was completely renovated. We had a wall here that separated the bathroom and a closet. Donley Construction took down this wall and redid this entire bathroom, gutted it. Floor had to be ripped up because it was wavy. All the walls had to be taken out because they were contaminated lead. And as we talked about, the major problem here was lead contamination. This particular area, before we took the wall down and it was just a closet, this was over 3,000 parts per million of lead, just in this little room. So everything had to go. And as we dug further in, we found more and more problems, more and more lead. Everything had to go, and they did it.
All right.
And up here, this is completely been renovated. This wall wasn't here. None of the lights were here. None of the fans were here. Heating, baseboard heating wasn't up here. When we moved in, there was nothing but studs up and a little bit of insulation. So you can imagine, 1, it was drafty, 2, it was unusable, and 3, it was useless space. It really was. Came up here, they threw some ideas at us, and we loved them all.
They did a wonderful job. The work that they did, I never couldn't have done it myself. Between my husband and I, we never could have done it all. It was like a dream. When they came over and they got to work, they got to work.
I'm so stunned at the transformation of this place. I saw the photos before, and it just looks like a completely new space. And I'm sure you guys just have so much fun and enjoy spending time here now. And we were really happy and honored to be a part of this with you guys.
The only way to shape it up is it's been a blessing. Everything that has been done for us and our family is just remarkable, and we love being here now. Every day we wake up and think, wow, how did we get so lucky to have this happen to us? What a blessing this has been. And there isn't a day that doesn't go by we do something or watch our kids, our grandkids move around and utilize our home and think, this couldn't be. They wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Brian and Charlie coming in and doing the things they did for us. We're blessed. It's amazing.